Hey, welcome back to the Socially Numb podcast. I am your host, Richie Leahy. I mistakenly said that on the last episode that this one that I have coming here today was going to be the last episode, but I'm fixing to end it on 52, so it actually goes a full year. What I'll probably do is add an addendum to the very beginning, kind of like a hey, the show has ended note. This is what it's about if you want to listen to it, but just know that it ends at 52. But I haven't figured out the way I was going to end the show yet, but I will say that you will have two more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little bit special. I think what I'm going to look at is when we first started this, we had a Socially Numb website where I usually ranted about things, or kind of like the angry guy. I think there's like one that's like Angry Nerd or something like that website. At least there was at the time. Or Angry Tech Guy, kind of similar, nothing groundbreaking or whatever. But we wanted to do it in a format, the podcast. Now, with this, we looked at getting user input. Now, some of the user input that we got was quite raunchy, and I thought funny. We were trying to do it so that it had a bit of comedy to it. Now, some of those worked, some of those didn't. Some of those mainly were anonymous as I was trying to pull people in. So I did little mini rants, and then I had people kind of guest write they could either use their real name or a pseudonym. And what I'm going to do for the last couple episodes is I would like to archive those, but they don't fit in currently with my website, as it's more of it's not a portfolio space, but I don't want to lose the content because we went through the trouble trying to build it. I mean, we got a couple, I don't want to say it was a ton of views on the first iteration of Socially Numb, but we did get a good bit here that I'd like to share. Now, what I'll probably do is little bits and pieces of it. I do have some of my own stories mixed in, and I've been debating if I should start with those or get into the other ones. So I'll probably start a little bit here with kind of my mini rants. And the first one I know that I hate, and I might have even talked about it a little bit before on the show, is the Mac SuperDrive. So what that means, and it kind of goes along with how many years ago I got an iPhone 6, and it's Apple shoving stupid little proprietary things in your face. Now, the iPhone 6 was the last iPhone that had the headphone jack, and I've been hoping that they come back with another version. Well, the SuperDrive is their similar interesting like little thing that they cut out, and that is the CD drive. Okay, so you used to be able to boot into your operating system. I could install Linux or whatever that I wanted to using the CD drive. But when I got my MacBook Air that I do all the show stuff on, there was no CD drive. So instead I had to spend an extra, I don't even know what it was, $50-$60 on a drive that plugs into the USB made by Mac that only does CDs and DVDs. So no longer could I buy a CD at the store in the discount bin and rip it to iTunes. I would have to buy an extra piece of my computer. And I hated it because there's nothing worse than getting a piece of equipment and finding out that you need 100 different add-ons to make it work. So this is similar to the iPhone with the headphone jack. My vehicle has a auxiliary in, so if I don't have a headphone jack on my phone, I really can't use it. So what I have to do is I have to carry an extra dongle, and if I'm going on a long road trip, I have to get like a splitter, if that even works, to charge it. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it. I've just been too beaten up over the thing where within the next year or so, I almost got one recently because I was out on a beach trip and my phone overheated and I thought it was dead. So I had to let it cool down. We were out in the middle of Florida and I thought, oh man, it's dead. Well, it stayed alive once it cooled down and it's been working since, but I've been on the watch thinking, holy crap, this phone is going to die at any time. So that's my first one. I hate Mac SuperDrive. I hate how they shove proprietary stuff down your face when it could have just worked in the first place. Now, not only that, I can get extra players. So what I ended up doing was I actually got, someone gave me the SuperDrive. I don't know if it was a gift or what, I can't remember. But what I ended up doing myself was I went and got an extra Blu-ray player because ding ding, guess what? You can't play Blu-ray on the Apple Drive, the SuperDrive. So Mac SuperDrive, whatever it's called. So I had to buy yet another thing to even play my Blu-rays on my computer and or rip them. So Vudu has a thing, which is owned by Walmart, I believe still as this recording, where you can rip your DVDs into digital, like the ultraviolet locker. So you can go ahead and put that on ultraviolet. And it's kind of just like a storage. It's like the digital code that you get with your movie. Well, if you had an older movie before the codes were given out, you could just pay $1 and have it show up in your digital locker. So I did that with a lot of my movies because, I mean, I could spend $20, get 20 movies converted. I didn't have a ton of movies, but overall, I didn't want to lose them either, and I didn't want to carry a ton of discs around. Now, if that service ever goes down, I probably just would never buy movies again. I think everything's going to go to streaming anyway, and I hope that the streaming becomes sort of like going to the movies, but you own it. So, like, if I would want to sit down with a family and pay $10 for a movie, we could just own it in my digital space and stream it at any time. Or you could rent it for $1. Like, I think the cost will go down, but who knows? Because once you get a monopoly share like that, they'll go up. Luckily, Disney's split right now. They'll probably come together. There's a couple other ones. I think MGM's not on there. They own like the Rocky movies and stuff. At least they don't go to digital anyway. Maybe Disney is on there now. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too long, but that's another thing. So I had to buy yet another piece just to get to the point where I have what I need to make my computer work.